What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So the good folks at Perfume Box sent another package my way with some more Dumont fragrances, and I've been kind of spending some time with a particular line, the Tresador line. Today we're talking about Celestia, and it trumps Melodia, the one we reviewed previously, in every way because it's a profile that I really love. So any of you not familiar with Perfume Box, I will have a link with a code down below. They offer a lot of variety for super competitive pricing, just like everyone else has across discounters that you're used to shopping with, as far as niche, designer, Middle Eastern, cheap, and they are an exclusive distributor for this brand, Dumont in particular, that we're looking at here today. Again, them sending this my way is not going to have any, it never has any influence on what I'm going to say, because you know my motto, sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit, and if it's in between, we talk about why I think it falls in between. So we're going to dive into this review. Spoiler alert, I love this one. Stay tuned. Quick look at the bottle, because I absolutely love these bottles. This is my favorite Dumont bottle. Thick base glass, well contoured, burgundy tone to the labeling, says the name of the fragrance and everything. You have that jeweled enamel coating for the Sergio Valenti, I believe is what you said, what it is, on the cap, and then you have some information on the bottom. Nothing on the back. The cap holds, but I wouldn't really trust it. Hefty metal cap with a little bit of plastic filling and a pressurized atomizer. This is going to come down because of the ceiling fan, as you can see, but it is a beautifully pressured atomizer. Now, I'm going to have the notes on screen for you guys. And so the moment I sprayed this one the first time, I was like, ooh, I have that. What is this? This is so familiar. It was on the tip of my tongue. So I put the note breakdown in Google. And of course, this pulled up. And so did Electimus Trajan. I went looked, same note breakdown. That's what it is. So, there is a difference though. There's a twist here. It's not one-to-one. Gotta smell it floating in the air. Even though it went shot straight down, it's like circulating in the air. That's so good. And I don't go nose blind to this one. Get ready for the performance on this. It's crazy. So, all the citruses. So, basically, let me tell you about Trajan in this. Citrus dominant Baccarat Rouge 540 with oak moss. Now, the oak moss is the key component here because you get a lot more of it here than you do in something like the Electimus fragrance. This is very similar. Not going to say it's the same quality, but it's closer than you would think. Surprisingly closer than I thought it would be as far as quality. Not a big drop off here. We're not talking about wildly synthetic versus high class luxury. What and what almost. So you get citruses, you get that sugared sweetness, but the biggest difference here is I get more of an earthy green, slight spicy tone. Obviously the citruses, the saffron, all those things are present, the ambergris, everything that gives you that little bit of vanilla. They give you that sugared cotton candy-like sweetness with the citruses. Everything that's just beautiful about Electimus Trajan. And really the best parts of Baccarat Rouge 540 are present here as well, without a heavy amberwood, heavy jasmine kind of thing going on. And as it dries, like I said, I get way more oak moss. I get more oak moss early, but way more oak moss late than Electimus Trajan. I would say it's every bit 90% accurate to that one. And I'm not going to say 90+%. I'm going to say 90% because I think the big 10% is a pretty big 10% because it's just so much more oak moss dominant here. But I got to say, man, if you don't want to spend the money on the Electimus fragrance and you definitely don't want to spend the money on Baccarat Rouge 540, man, this is green light go, man. This jumped into my top 5 from Dumont. This is real good. This is the one to beat in this line so far. I'm now 2 fragrances into this Tresador line, and this is the one to beat for me because I'm a huge fan of Trajan. I have Trajan sitting right over here on this shelf that's off shot of this camera angle. Because I did a side-by-side. I was like, wow, this is oak moss heavy version of that. It's amazing. I would highly encourage checking this one out. I know it's not easy to get samples. They don't offer samples in the website down below. I don't know who buys them and decants them or what, but Blind buy at your own risk. I'm not recommending you blind buy this. I rarely ever recommend blind buying something. Just be responsible if you're going to. Just know what you're getting into. I'm trying to be as accurate as I can with my thoughts here. It's oak moss, heavier oak moss. And I don't mean like loads of oak moss, but I mean noticeably more oak moss than Trajan. It smells fantastic. Now, I touched on performance. I don't go nose blind to this one. I was so surprised. It was obnoxious. So here, yesterday, my Sin of the Day shorts video. So I typically test for 2 nights in a row with test sprays, and then I do a full wearing. And then usually after that, if my thoughts are complete, I'll do a review. If I need to do another wearing, I do another wearing, and so on. So I did 2 nights of testing, and then yesterday I did a full wearing of this one. And in my Sin of the Day shorts video, I did 5 sprays. I already had 2 in my forearm. I did 5 sprays. Ended up having to redo it. So mind you, I had 7 sprays on. I then reshot it and did another 3, which kind of doubled up around the neck. So I actually had 10 sprays on yesterday, and I didn't go nose blind. It got obnoxious. It's a 12-hour, it's 8+ hours, okay? That's the way we grade it here on the channel. It's really much more, it's the plus. Not just 8, it's the plus is what matters here. Projection for 2 to 3 hours was actually heavier than I would have liked. Now, granted, it's because I had so many damn sprays on. That's what the number of sprays are going to dictate. How heavy it's going to project early, how strong your sillage will be in the long term. More sprays does not equal more longevity. For anybody that was confused or heard somebody say that to you before, more sprays does not add longevity. More sprays makes the bubble go. So here's 3 sprays, 4 sprays, 5 sprays. You see where I'm going? You ever heard the term bathing in cologne, spraying on too much cologne? That's where your power comes from, is number of sprays. Now that that's out the way, because I've gotten asked, like, just dial more sprays for more longevity. No, that's not how that works. You could put half this bottle on. How long at one time? How long it's going to last is... 1 spray is going to last just as long as half the bottle on you will. You're just going to have a ridiculous projection in sillage for set amount of time early on before it fades. You see what I'm saying? Okay, tangent over. So projection on this one, 2 to 3 hours. Moderate heavy. Really, it was heavy, but it was because I had so many sprays on. I normally wouldn't wear 10 sprays or something like this. 5 is usually the sweet spot for something like this. So it's moderate to heavy. With 10 sprays, it was heavy. Sillage, it was heavy. It was. I'm going to call it moderate to heavy with my normal spray routine. Moderate to heavy with the test sprays. It was definitely moderate to heavy. Because that's the thing. I have a baseline for what 1 and 2 spray tests were like for the longevity, the projection, and the sillage. And then this ridiculous wearing, because I didn't go nose blind to it. I was so surprised because I'm talking 6-7 hours in and I'm just constant whiffs of it, heavy, like, wow. I could not believe with synthetic ambergris and stuff like that, I never wore out to it. I was blown away that I never wore, because I thought it was interesting with the test sprays, like, doesn't seem to be getting all that much weaker. My nose isn't really trying to hide it from me here. And then when I did that wearing, I loved it, but it got old. It was strong for a long time. So mindful, modest to moderate sprays, this is a beast. Heavy sprays, it's kind of obnoxious as a wearing experience. My wife kept telling me how strong it was, but for me it was even it was too much. It really was. I never want to experience that again because it was just too many sprays. And the crazy part is I love the way it smells. It's just too much. It took away from the experience having too much. So it's kind of a good thing I'm able to give this little rant about. It just took something I love and made it not a bad experience, but a lesser than experience from what it could have been. Because I try to warn you guys that you can ruin your own wearing experience with overwhelming yourself. And in this case, I overwhelmed myself. It was intentionally unintentional because of the situation. Because I just, like, I had to reshoot it. The shorts video, so I had to spray more. But I dialed the sprays. I wasn't doing 5 again because then I would have had 12 sprays on, which would have been even worse. But across the board, moderate to heavy, 8+ hours, moderate to heavy. Projection, 2 to 3 hours, moderate to heavy. Sillage. It's crazy. Final thoughts on Tresador Celestia, because the rants on the situation, I had a lot to say. A lot happened in the last 3 days wearing this fragrance. Kind of is making this video run long, so I apologize for that. I'm going to try to wrap it up relatively quick, but it's a 9 out of 10. It's outstanding. It is. Just be mindful of your sprays, as you can tell by the last segment of this video, but this is one of Dumont's best. It's extremely familiar. I knew right away. It's like, I know this fragrance. Was able to figure it out, you know, within 10 minutes, I got it figured out on what it was. Compared, did a side-by-side, was able to detect a big enough difference, a noteworthy difference to discuss with you guys, and was very surprised by the lack of nose fatigue. I'm not saying you won't have nose fatigue. You might go blind to it in 20 or 30 minutes and then want to come back to bitch at me and call me crazy and say, oh, 30 minutes and it's gone. I couldn't smell it after an hour because you got some nose fatigue. I just happened to not get any, which I was very surprised by. My experience, I can almost guarantee, will not duplicate as your experience. So keep that in mind for anybody that may potentially buy this based off of this review. There's no guarantees you're going to have this exact experience. Matter of fact, I can guarantee you're not going to have my exact experience. You're going to have your experience. So keep that in mind, guys. But this stuff, man, 9 out of 10. Well, that's my thoughts and feelings on Tresador Celestia from Dumont. Thank you so much, Perfume Box, for sending this my way. This has been an absolute joy to experience. I just wish I wouldn't have overwhelmed myself yesterday, because it was great for a little while. It just got old because it never calmed down. My nose never fatigued. It never really settled down. So it got old. But the first couple of hours, it was magic. Like, man, I was constantly smelling this beautiful fragrance. Quality here is pretty good, too. I'm not saying you will or won't go nose blind, but if you don't go nose blind to it like I didn't, get ready. This stuff is potent. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, because I do appreciate all the feedback, and I love hearing from you guys. How many of you have tried this? Similar? No nose fatigue? Crazy powerful for you? Let me know. I'm curious on if it's just me. Is it me? Or is it a thing with this fragrance? I don't know. I'm very curious. And until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on Tresador Celestia from Dumont and you give it a spray now, I'm really confident you'll thank me later if you got similar taste to mine. Have a good one, guys.